Let's start with the news yesterday. We knew there was going to be a board meeting between Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment and their CEO, Keith Pelly. Mm-hmm. Currently, Rogers occupies 3 board seats, Bell occupies 3 board seats, and Larry Tannenbaum occupies 2. And the way it works is Keith comes in and he goes, here are my recommendations since you guys hired me. Here's what I'd like to do. And then they vote on it. Now, it was reported yesterday that Bell is treating their seats as more of a, hey, Rogers, what do you want to do? And we'll do that, even though they will still be the owner until like June or July.
Keith Pelly didn't confirm or deny whether or not the sale went through or like the transition went through, because it was speculated that it could have gone down as early as this week. Like they could have just made the transition. Like we all know it's ending, so like why don't we just get over with it since there's going to be so many changes within MLSE? And he was asked a couple times in different ways, and he wouldn't say whether or not because I don't think he's allowed to say. Yeah, but yeah, I assume Rogers was the only people who had voting interest in this decision.
Well, and this is the thing, right? What happened in the past was, and this is what I keep talking about with ownership structure when Steve's ready to throw me off the roof here, but is that those 3 seats that each of them occupied, you'd have to get Larry Tannenbaum on board with one side or the other, or you'd have to get Rogers and Bell to work together to get something passed. And that is what created a bit of a stasis situation at the top sometimes. And obviously, just a perfect example of that is when David Freesdale was not renewed or let go or whatever the heck happened there. He was the last CEO of MLSE. It took them 2 years to fill that position. 2 years they sat without a CEO. They had an interim CEO and she just retired, but it was not, her job was not to do what Keith Pelly's doing. Her job was not to reorganize the organization. And I think that's what Rogers wants to do. So, Jesse, I guess we'll start with the Maple Leafs statement yesterday after the board meeting, which was kind of expected, right? Everybody sort of expected, hey, Shanahan will be let go.
Some people were still clinging on to the idea that he could stick around because he presented to Keith Pelly that we got really close at Game 7 of the second round, and we are.
How many times are you permitted to say that?
We are right there, and if there's a little bit more tweaking, if you allow me to do that tweaking, I can stick around and get this team over the hump. And obviously, Keith Pelly decided against that.
You just don't get to say that the same way the Oilers a couple of years ago get to say that, right?
Or last year.
Or well,
they almost won.
Like, okay, so there was, you could argue a time where the Oilers were in a position where they're like, I don't know, should we shake this up a bit? And 2022, they make it to the Final Four, and they're very happy about that. And they get swept, and no one's happy about that. See what's happening in Carolina right now. And then the next year, you put together that effort against Vegas. But it wasn't 9 consecutive years of disappointment. Mm-hmm. So they were able to ride that into, you know what, let's keep it together. Let's see how this goes. Let's maybe add a couple pieces to it. They go to the Stanley Cup final, and no one's blowing up a team that goes to the Stanley Cup final. Mm-hmm. Now here's the Leafs.
Mm-hmm. So their statement yesterday, I don't know, Adam, if you want to read it.
Over the past 11 seasons, Brenden Shanahan has made countless contributions to the Toronto Maple Leafs on the ice and off the ice in the community. Brenden is one of the most respected leaders in the game, and he has instilled many of the traits that were the signature of his Hall of Fame career throughout the organization, uniting this storied franchise in the honor, pride, and courage that it was founded on. Our responsibility and driving motivation, however, is to add a new chapter to the Maple Leafs championship history, and it was determined that a new voice was required to take the team to the next level in the years ahead. The franchise will be forever grateful to for Brendan's contributions and wish him and his family every success and happiness in the future. That is from MLSE CEO Keith Pelly. Now, we do have a statement from Brenden Shanahan. Should I wait on that, or should I get to that now?
No, I think you read it now.
Okay. Following a meeting today, I was informed that I was no longer going to remain president and alternate governor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I want to thank the board of MLSE for the tremendous support they've shown me over my tenure. Toronto was where I was born and raised, where my family still lives, and being a part of this historic franchise will always be one of the greatest honors of my life. I want to thank the entire Maple Leaf staff for their commitment and hard work over the years. They are second to none in the National Hockey League. I want to thank our alumni for their support and the tremendous work they do at our games and within the community. Many of them were my heroes growing up, and it has been a pleasure to get to know them all on a personal level. I want to thank the fans for their passion and loyalty. Your love for the team inspired me every day. While I am proud of the rebuild we embarked on in 2014, ultimately I came here to win a cup, and we did not. There is nothing more I wanted to deliver to our fans, and my biggest regret is that we could not finish the job. I really enjoyed working with Brad and Craig, and I firmly believe they are excellent in their roles and have done a great job in their time with the team. I also want to thank the players. They are committed and passionate about delivering a championship to this city and will do everything within their power to accomplish that goal. I wish them the very best. Thank you, Brenden.
Now, I know I've been calling for this guy to be fired for like at least 2 years.
Why aren't you dancing?
Because
Where are your dancing shoes, Steven?
Because I don't like revel in these things happen.
Not according to the internet.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. You know, they think I'm wrong. I think they're wrong. Oh, now look at us, Texas State.
Well, you'd rather them lose and get your numbers pop anyway.
Let's go. I like when there's no games. It's great for a sports media business.
Yeah. When there's no games, it's great.
So
yeah.
Good. Like, listen, I've been calling for this for at least a couple of years. What I've liked about this sort of retrospective over the last 24 hours, I guess.
It hasn't been.
No, it hasn't even been 24 hours.
No, it came down like 6 yesterday?
Yeah.
When we were prepping for this show, Adam's like, oh, yeah, the news that came down. I'm like, oh, yeah, we haven't done a show about this yet.
It was yesterday.
It was literally yesterday. He did some really, really good things, especially towards the beginning of his tenure here. He repaired a lot of relationships with their alumni, and he hammered that. Alumni, and Legends Row.
That statue downstairs, man. People take a ton of pictures.
Yeah, like getting Dave Keon to return to the Leafs. Mm-hmm. Sundin was a little bit more involved. I think there's still some work to do there.
I mean, Sundin wasn't at. I mentioned. So I made a video today. It's not out yet, but it's going to be my 5 favorite things that Brenden Shanahan did with the Leafs. And one of them, I mentioned the alumni. But remember that Matt Sundin was not at the alumni thing. Thomas Cabriolet was in his place. Do you remember that?
When was this?
This is in the 100-year celebration. Matt's wasn't there.
Yeah. There's
still repair. There's still stuff to repair.
There's damage there, and he did a lot of really good work with that. They were in a brutal place. You know, obviously, when you're bad, you get to pick high, and you need some luck. The Leafs got a ton of it. William Nylander the fact he was available at 8th overall is insane, because the Canucks picked Jake Virtanen 6th, and the Hurricanes picked Hayden Fleury 7th. That Nylander falls into your lap. Awesome. Great. So you pick him. Marner is available at 4, which...
You also happen to have the current owner of the team, of the London Knights, working for you at that point too, which gives you a bit of an inside track on if this guy is good or not.
But that draft was McDavid, Eichel, and then it went McDavid's teammate, Dylan Strome, and Mitch Marner. Dylan Strome has turned into a very good player.
He's not Mitch Marner.
It's taken him a long time. He's never been Mitch Marner. Like in his pro career, again, he's done some very good things. Who knows? He could win a cup next year. We don't know. But in his pro career, he's never been Mitch. So there's a high pick, and there's still some luck involved. And then you win a lottery, and it's Austin.
And they planned to win that lottery, by the way.
Oh, they sure did. And they threaded the needle. We're going to get Mike Babcock. They got some pretty good goaltending that year from Reimer. They traded him right in the nick of time. And they finish last by the skin of their teeth, and they're one of the best last place teams ever. And you still have to win a lottery. And second overall pick that year was going to be Laine no matter what. Can you imagine the fortunes of this team and how fortunes is maybe aggressive. Can you imagine if they didn't get Austin Matthews?
Right.
So a lot of things go their way. They changed the logo, which I didn't even realize how badly they needed it.
You look at those jerseys now, like Willie in his rookie year.
It
terrible.
looks disgusting.
I do want to say that in the same year, William Nylander and Dion Phaneuf played on the Leafs.
And Phil Kessel. There's a picture of Nylander and Kessel. I think it was a preseason game.
Crazy.
It's weird to look at. It's really weird to look at. You forget how long Shanahan's been here. He was hired to the Leafs a month after I moved to Oshawa.
And he extended Randy Carlyle. People forget that.
That was like one of the first things he did, and he almost extended Dave Bolland. I've heard he was very close there, and he wanted him bad. And that contract was...
In that case, the Panthers saved us.
Yes, in that case. And they said, don't worry, that bill's going to come due. And it certainly has. He did a lot of good things. There's a reason why we were all thumping, for the Shanahan plan.
Brought respectability back.
Yes.
Remember he suspended Nazem Kadri for showing up late to practice? Like, there's going to be standards here.
Yeah, and even if that wasn't directly his decision, he brought in Mike Babcock when he was hired. Like, obviously he's persona non grata now, but when he was hired, that was fortune beyond any Leaf fan's wildest dreams. Lou Lamoriello joining the Toronto Maple Leafs still seems like a fever dream.
I remember getting the notification on my phone and going, what?
I was on the train. I was on the train heading to Smash Fest, the table tennis tournament.
Dominic Moore's table tennis? Yeah.
Dominic Moore's thing. And there's a ton of hockey media that go to that every year, and we're all just looking at each other like, what the fuck? Lou Lamoriello's the Leafs GM? What the fuck is this? Like, I found out he was Leafs GM before I found out he quit the Devils.
Yeah.
Like, that all happened very fast. Shanahan got so much stuff done. It was impossible to not think of him as the guy. And what buried him was this team that he built, and this team that he was confident in, and this team that a lot of people were confident in. As people lost confidence in the team, in the core, and as circumstances changed, the world stopped, the cap stopped going up, he and everyone he employed and was the superior of refused to change. You had so many different opportunities to try to move off of this core, and they wouldn't do it, and they're going to grow into it. And people had the audacity to be like, well, Yzerman didn't win until X year or whatever year.
Almost became a senator.
Yeah, like trying to trick us into the idea that those Red Wings were anything like these Leafs.
I bought that.
Yeah,
I bought that.
We did
I thought
for a
CJ,
while.
CJ on this Chris Johnson show did a fantastic job spelling out like his Brendan Shanahan's thinking behind those Detroit Red Wings, and how the Toronto Maple Leafs of 2025, the reason that they're unsuccessful right now is because of the 96-97 Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah.
Where Brendan Shanahan was on that team in that organization, and Steve Yzerman was drafted in 85, 86.
Yep.
And they didn't win the cup. Might have
been even before that.
Drafted before that, played his rookie season in 85, 86. So we're talking about his rookie season to when they win the cup in 96, 97. That's a long time to keep believing in the core.
He was drafted in 1983.
Yeah, and his rookie season's 84, 88.
No, it was 83, 84.
83, 84, okay.
With Detroit, 39 goals, 87 points.
So the Detroit Red Wings say, we have this player, we have this nucleus of guys, we're going to keep running it back until it works. And Brendan Shanahan lived through that and was like, you can't just give up on talented players. And he saw Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and William Nylander and John Tavares as the same nucleus as a championship team that they had in Detroit. And him living that experience and being successful is the reason he doesn't have a job today.